Hey guys, welcome to this video. Here I have a very nice, pretty simple in terms of code, but highly effective, I would say, in terms of returns. It's free, open source, so the link is in the description. Tutorial is also there. If you have any questions, just let me know on the GitHub repository. So let's dig into it. So what we see here is our backtesting result. So we simulated a portfolio with, I think, 10 coins. Half of them performed pretty bad, like this here. You see on the start, it's like dead level, and we even lost value. Same for some other pairs here. So it's kind of 50-50. Some of them performed good, some of them bad. But what we do with this bot is we basically balance our portfolio. So we have each asset we want to have in the best case 10%. And our bot will balance the portfolio. So there are also settings here. You can check it out by yourself. See description. Yeah, so it's basically balancing your portfolio. So depending on the settings. So you can try it a little bit, but with those settings, what it does is if the price of the asset, so if the asset is suddenly like 12% in our portfolio because it outperformed the others, we will sell it and we buy the other assets instead. So we sell, for example, 1% of Litecoin, and instead we buy maybe 0.1 or maybe 1% of USDT, and the other part we spread it across the other coins. So we shift our funds depending on how the allocation is. So each one should be 10%. So if it's changing, it will balance it. So because of that math, it's basically not always, but it's basically selling low, or it's buying low and it's selling high, basically. Not always, because for example, here we buy a lot at the top, but if we check out another pair, we just shifted to that pair because that pair underperformed, so we balanced it a little bit. We still sold at the top, but basically you see we sell high and buy low all the time, and it's as the wave continues up and down, so we trim our position a little bit. If we go up, we sell a little bit. If we go down, we buy a little bit. If we go up, and the more we go up and down, the better, basically. So even though half of the portfolio, if you would just held it spot, would have even lost like money over like the 4 year span here. But yeah, with our bot, it balanced it out, and it overperformed basically every pair. Made like a screenshot, so we can start. Let's start at the first one. So here we start same level. We don't dip as far, but we always kind of stay above what that pair like lost. So we pretty nicely managed it here, and yeah, all over it we like overperformed that pair. On the next one, here it's a little bit different. Here it's like pretty balanced, so we don't lose as much, but we end up basically with the same loss. We don't get as high as that pair, so it's BNB. I think that's the pair that like performed extremely well compared to the others. So our P&L curve is basically like BNB, but BNB is the only coin that, or one of the only coins that performed that well. So pretty nice outcome, I would say. So the next is Bitcoin. So we see we are clearly like way better off than with Bitcoin. We lost way more in the dips, even here, like we only go until here. And yeah, we gained way more if we would just held Bitcoin. And if you see here, we are basically at this level here, which is kind of like 30,000 around-ish. So yeah, and here we are at like 15, 16, 17k. So basically we if we would have everything in Bitcoin, that thing, or everything in that, so yeah, you know what I mean. So we overperformed Bitcoin by quite a lot. Dogecoin, So it only started here in 2019. Yeah, looks quite the same, like dipped more. Then we started to outperform it here a little bit, but we kept outperforming. We had the same top, and then we didn't dump as much. So we captured basically everything of that pump here from Doge and the others, but we didn't give back as much. So that's pretty awesome, I would say. And ETH, yeah, that's like crazy. So yeah, we started at the same, we didn't lost as much, and we just like overperformed it all over. Pretty insane. Link, yeah, that's a bit of a different story. So we started here and then we underperformed it by a lot, but then we catched up and we never came back. So also pretty amazing. And the scale here on the side is on all screenshots the same, so it's 100k. So here we are at around, I don't know, 130 or something, and we dipped down to 70k, so 7x. We started with a 10k portfolio. Yeah, Litecoin, like from beginning, we like overperformed it by quite a lot. So that coin lost quite a bit from start to beginning, so we didn't. That's awesome. The next coin, yeah, also all over basically. From here we were like way better off, and it was basically just sideways over those periods. So if we would have just hodled all over it, I guess we would have made maybe like, I don't know, 50, 100%, and here we end up with like 700. So pretty awesome, I would say. And the last coin, so we start here, underperform it by hell a lot, and then we catch up and like we end up at the same spot, but we never gave it back. So yeah, that's basically what the bot is like doing with the default configuration. That's the summary of it all. Where was it? So it's on Binance. We start with 10k and we end up with that. 676%, 67k, and the win rate and that stuff is not correct. It's only working for futures, and it's basically checking what to do once a day, and with those pairs here. So, and there are like tons of settings. Let's go back to here. So what we do is we set like the allocation for each pair. We set which pairs, and then I will explain that stuff. So if the price goes 0.5% up so if we end up here with 10.5% or more, or like with more than 10.5%, we start to sell this size. So we sell 0.2% of it per day. Same for the buy side. So 9.5%. If we go below that, we start to buy in steps of 0.2% per day. So if it dips far below that, it slowly keeps buying with like 0.2 per day. But yeah, you can change those settings. And those settings here, if we reach, for example, 16% here, then we will instantly sell everything that is above 16%. So we will never go above 16%. And if we go below, so if we go to 0, what can happen for USDT, sometimes we buy a lot for like 1, 2, 3 days and then we get rid of it slowly. So here it's basically, yeah, we can go to 0 on all of them. But it will never, because it's like, yeah, it's going in steps of 0.2% per day here. It's keep buying and buying and buying, but only 0.2% per day per coin. And yeah, allocation for each coin, and that's basically it. You can change those settings, go backtest it with the default Octobot. Here on the backtesting, you need to download the pairs all in one file. Select them, backtest, and then you get the same result basically. but with a different optic. So you can do it by yourself. Instructions on how to install that thing are in the description on the GitHub repository. And on the next episode, what I will do is, here we have the optimizer. I guess I prepared it already. Yeah. So it's 1 million runs in total. So I want to try like all of those settings from 1 to 10. But all with the same coins. So what I will do is go with like a 10, 20,000 backtests, and we'll do like 20,000 backtests, randomly choose out of those, what is it, 1 million? Yeah, 1 million possible combinations here. And we can't test all because it would take too long. So we just take 20,000 randoms, and we will have a good picture of which settings will work. So my best result now, I guess, was 832%, but it was also, I guess, with most of the coins were pretty, they performed pretty good. Here with that backtest, with the last one, I made it so that the portfolio is balanced. So half of the coins are like lost value and the other ones gained. So it's basically just sideways movement. We gain like 700%. Yeah, that's it. So next episode, the optimizer results will result in like 10,000 of those single backtests. We will dig into which settings are the best, and if you want to, because that's only version 1 that I made in a couple of days, if you want to support the project, if you have ideas, feature requests, post it. I do it in my free time, so if you donate, I will put more time into it for sure. And yeah, feel free to use the strategy. If you have questions or issues, let me know in the GitHub repository. See below. See you next time. And yeah, subscribe, like, and those shit for the algorithm. And for you, so you get notified. See ya!